Now then guys, just a really quick impromptu follow-up video on the Kel-Tec. I mentioned about how you can strip the gun down for cleaning, so that's what I'm doing now. So I figured I'd show you what we do. So you've just got this one pin to take the gun down. Just runs right through, look. It is unidirectional, so there we go. I don't have a hammer handy. So this fucking massive file will do. This is the kind of guy I am. Right. Right, so pin out, you can see it's got a little, it thins out in the middle a bit there, that it just sits over a spring and helps retain it. So that's it, one single pin, and that just breaks the gun down. Come on, take the stock right off, look, pull the stock right off. And that's the upper. That is your bolt and kind of carrier assembly there, captive recoil spring on there, that is that. And then your lower as well, and we'll put that over there, and that is your stock. So I mentioned in the video about the overall length why you've got this thing on there. That is because you cannot class this stock as part of the overall length. Even when it's fully collapsed, you've got that bit coming off the back of the gun. Because it's removable and the gun will still kind of function as a pistol, you cannot class this stock as the overall length. So hence why you've got that absolutely disgusting break on there, but whatever. Right, that's pretty much all you need to do to strip it down in order to clean it anyway, for all your cleaning needs. Right, so one of the first things I like to do when I'm cleaning is just to run a patch down the barrel with a bit of bore solvent on it. That's just some Hoppe's number 9. Just put a bit on a patch like that. Run that through the barrel, and then whilst you're doing the rest of the cleaning, that can sit and kind of get to work breaking down any of that copper and carbon. Come on, you fucking thing. Jesus. Always goes to plan on camera. Here we go. There we go. Come on. Where are you? Right. Just run that through. There we go. Now that's just give a nice good coating of Hoppe's down the barrel. That'll start to get to work. Whilst we clean the rest, do a bit of CLP on there on that brush. Just give this a good brush down. It's had a few hundred rounds through it. You know, these do split apart. You can split the carrier off there and everything like that if you're that way inclined. I'm not really going to bother doing that today. Just a really quick, rough cleaning because it's going to get a shot again next week, hopefully, if my wife allows me to go out. So just give that a good scrub, get that CLP in there, all over the place, getting that big debris off, let that sit for a bit. Get a dry brush. This is a brush with nothing on it, just a dry brush just to get rid of any of these big bits and pieces, deposits on there. You can get inside the receiver there. It's quite a nice open receiver. Just get rid of any unbent powder and residue and everything in there. The other bits, that's pretty clean to be fair. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's not bad at all. That little bit in them rails there, in them guide rails. If I can get that brush in. There we go. And on this side. Yeah, that's looking nice and clean, to be honest, is that to me. Alright, this is a brush that's just got a bit of CLP on it. So I'll just kind of get that just around that breech face there. And you get a lot of carbon build up, a lot of shit, and then get an earbud, Q-tip, whatever you want to call it, and just get in there and in them hard to reach places, get all that carbon off there. Like I say, that's not actually coming off too bad, to be fair, on that feed ramp as well. Anything off there. That's something that's quite nice about shooting WMR, is because it's a copper jacketed round. Your feed ramp don't get that build up of lead on it as the rounds slide up it, unlike a 22 long rifle. So that's always nice. So in some ways it's a cleaner round, I suppose. Right, let's let that sit. Lower wise, of course, there's not much to do in this lower look. So lower wise there, you can see that's had a few hundred rounds through it since it was last cleaned, and it's got a bit of build up. Look, bit of that powder residue in there that you can see. So something I like to do, which a lot of other people don't, is get the can of air in there. Get that can of air in there. So some people say that you shouldn't use compressed air like that to clean things out, because you can just drive the dirt in deeper. But to be honest, if you try and clean it out with a cloth or anything like that, that's all you're going to do anyway. And for the most part, certainly in something like an AR-15 in a trigger group with an AR, it definitely blasts a lot of that crap out of there. And then just again, I just get a dry brush, just clean out them rails. That's the that's a hammer. Lovely, lovely and clean. Oh look, you can see that again in there, nice and clean now. So that's pretty much that done. To be fair, I'll put that to a side. Let's run a bore snake through there. You can, if I was doing a proper clean to put the gun away into storage, I'd run a proper rod through the gun and give it a proper good scrubbing and a good mopping out. But for now, we'll just use the bore snake because it doesn't really need much of a clean at the minute. Whoop, hit that camera. Come on, bore snake. Anyone who doesn't know what a bore snake is, they're fantastic little things. Come on, he says as he struggles to get it through. Hang on, let's get this off camera. Come on. There we go. So it's just like a bit of paracord with a brass weight on it, and sewn onto the end is a cleaning rag with, I'll show you up there. So it's got brush bristles, God, that's hard to say. Brass brush bristles, Jesus, sewn into it, and you just pull that through, and then as you can see on the end, there's a loop there as well, just to pull. It's a bit wider, pull any shit through. And you can generally get most of the shit out with just one pass through the barrel. Now I'll look through that barrel. Yeah, that's not dirty at all in that, to be fair. Something that makes cleaning these odd is the fact that that is permanently attached to this great whacking muzzle brake. So if you want to scrub that out or anything with a brush, we've got a brush somewhere, where's my brush? You can get in from this end, but just be aware of that muzzle. You don't want to damage that muzzle. But to be honest, I don't really bother. Because you're because you're firing a copper jacketed round, you don't get like on this gun. This is my 22 long rifle. That's a 223 muzzle brake. You get a lot of lead. I mean, you might even see some actual lead that I've chiseled off a few minutes ago in there. That gets a lot of lead, like molten lead, stuck to it, and it starts to build up and mound up inside the brake. But because the bullets this fires are copper jacketed, you don't get any of that. You get carbon, but no lead. Done. So we can lube up and reassemble. So actually no we can't, we need to wipe this bolt down. Look, this carrier. So wipe this bolt and carrier down. So we clean this with some CLP. So it's just got CLP set on it. Now the main areas you need to focus on, like any direct blowback, are on the bolt face. That's going to get dirty very fast. As soon as that starts to open, you get all that high pressure gas and all them hot deposits of carbon and powder and that getting blasted out around there. So in fact you can see that's got a nice, it's already got a nice mark on it there from where it's been shot. But yes, I'll do, lovely. I'm not going to bother taking the recoil spring out of there. You can remove this little pin here which holds it in place and pull it all out, but for what we're doing now, you don't really need to do. It's absolutely fine, is that? Nice and clean. A bit of head on there. Absolutely fine. So we'll get, let's have a look, we'll get a clean patch. Just put a tiny bit of CLP on there. If you don't know what CLP is, I've just started using this actually in the last month or so. It's like it's supposed to clean, lube and protect, hence CLP. Don't know how good it works, to be honest. Like I say, I'm just giving it a bit of a trial, but just give everything a quick wipe down in that. kind of just get a nice thin coating everywhere. Yeah, a little bit of crap on there, not a lot. Again, you can get into the receiver if you want. I mean, to be honest, this one ain't that dirty anyway. Yeah, not too bad at all, that. Not for my needs anyway. Right, now, the reassembly. This is the worst bit, right. See if I can remember how to reassemble this. Right, that's your bolt in there. Your bolt's that in. Now, I need this. And where's that stock? There. Right, so I have to kind of sit the stock over the lower receiver, and then this is the awkward bit. Oh, that's right, I need that out. Oh, this is a shit house to do it. Oh, I'm not even going to bother trying to show you this. This is a nightmare. Oh, I just got that in first time. Look at that. Look at that. Wowzer. Look at that, easy. I don't know what everyone complains about. And then we'll just knock that pin in. Perfect. Stock goes in. Perfect functionality. Look at that. Lovely job. That'll do. Something to note with this actually is normally when I put my rifles in the safe, I always like, let's show you what this AR actually. So if you're going to put your rifles back in the safe, you don't just want to, especially if it's an AR-15, you don't just want to leave it unsafe, because your hammer is back now under spring tension. That's under a lot of spring tension. You don't want to store anything under spring tension like that. So you want to let your hammer off. You always want to let your hammer rest. Take as much tension out of them springs as possible. So normally what you do, and you don't want to dry fire, you don't want to just bang, drop that hammer. You don't want to dry fire it because you don't really want to dry fire rim fires that much. So what you want to do, look, is just hold that bolt back a little bit like that, look. Drop that hammer and let it go back like that. See, so you don't want to put it closed and dry fire it because it'll bang, slam into that firing pin. Not good for the gun at all. So just pull the bolt about halfway back, hold onto that charging handle. There you go, let that hammer just ride that bolt home. You've lost all the tension now, the gun's fired. Took a lot of tension out of them springs, that's the way to store that gun. However, on the Kel-Tec, we got a fire. You cannot do that because it has an out of battery trigger disconnect, and it will not, that trigger, look, will not engage when that bolt's anywhere near out of battery. It's got to be fully in battery. So you have to dry fire this if you want to store it. And now the gun's fired, that safety will go back on. But it's taken the tension out of that hammer spring. Gun's ready to store. Brilliant. Thanks for watching, guys.